John, I've got a problem. I played all these games. There's just so many that I played, and yet I don't know what to play next. But I don't need a Mario. I don't need a Zelda. I've played all those. I need a recommendation. Fortunately, we have the Release poll to help us out with the top 10 game recommendations from everyone. Also, I love how me playing every video game is like the biggest joke because of these polls. Everybody's like, you don't play anything. But yes, we're looking for your top 10 game recommendations because we've said quite a bit over the time of doing these that a big goal of these is, hey, here's some games you might not have tried out that are actually really good. So let's hone in on that. Let's focus in on that and see what we can do here. So the only real guideline I gave people is, what are 10 games you would recommend to people if that they're looking for a new game? These are sort of personal favorites or things that you just have an attachment to. Didn't really say anything beyond that. So that's just to have sort of a basis there.
Right.
So,
and we're hoping it doesn't fall too regular. Like we don't, as you're saying, we don't want the Marios and the core Zeldas and all that stuff.
mm-hmm. And that's what I kind of did with looking through this, because we got 840 votes, which is pretty solid for a lot of game recommendations. And honestly, there's so many on here, and it's the amount of games recommended on here is massive. So I think I'm going to end up doing is making a separate doc that I can link to everybody, just so you can look through and see if anything sounds interesting to you based on the amount of votes or anything like that, to try to maybe I should check that out because I got this many. Because good God, yeah. there's so many different games and they're not ordered. I haven't got a chance to put them all together, but there's, and some are super obvious, but others are definitely underappreciated classics in a lot of ways, or anywhere in between. So it should be interesting to see what we end up with here, because the goal here is just, let's find a new game for you all to play. Things are getting expensive. Maybe you can get one of these older games. It's a little easier, so we'll go with that. And it's also impossible for you to guess these. It's just not happening.
I could try, but we're not going to. We're not going
to do that. So instead, we're going to be actually giving our own recommendations, not focusing too much time on them, but just our own little recommendations that we would suggest people try out. So you ready? Now we got ourselves established. You ready to get going?
I think so. Yeah, this is going to be very unpredictable, but I'm excited. Let's do this.
Yeah. I should also mention, for this top 10, I did decide, at least for the top 10, just for the sake of having variety, to remove, I'll mention, but I won't, but they're technically not counted as part of the top 10 games that did make our top 500 games of all time list. I didn't have that as an actual restriction. It was just more of a guideline, but several did make it in. Not like the super common ones, which is why I left them. But again, to have more variety, I left it out.
Okay.
So I'm not even going to ask you your 10th recommendation. Just give us your first recommendation.
Well, that's good, because I have not ordered them. It's just
I don't have mine ordered either.
All right. I'll talk about a game that I played with Steve in person yesterday, because he came to London. He and I went to a gaming bar and we played a whole bunch of arcade games, but the one that we played the most is Point Blank. We love Point Blank. This is one that I've spoken about before, and it seems a lot of people aren't familiar with. It's a classic Namco light gun game, where it's basically light gun WarioWare, where you get these bite-sized mini games, where it could be there's volcanic boulders falling from the sky, and you've got to shoot them all before it hits the guy down below. Or, I don't know, maybe there's targets flipping, you've got to be the first to shoot them as quick as you can. So it's not like a traditional light gun game where you're just shooting people. It can be mini tasks, it can be protecting things. It's just really rapid, really fun, and one of the coolest arcade games I think I've ever played.
I've never seen an arcade cabinet for that, but I do remember in the PS1 era,
yes,
constantly talking about the Point Blank games coming out, like Point Blank 1, 2. I think there might have been a third one.
Yeah,
I never picked up the gun attachment, the light gun attachment for the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's never too late. If you see Point Blank in the wild, jump at it. You've got to play Point Blank.
As for my recommendation, I'm going to go with, especially because it just got a Steam Next Fest demo for its sequel, Tangle Tower.
Yes.
I love Tangle Tower. This is from the same developers as Snipper Clips and Crow Country. This is a wonderful little mystery detective game. Going around and interviewing the suspects, learning new information. It's so wonderfully voice acted. The character designs are really interesting, and it's one of those games where you just get sucked into it. Because actually played it alongside my partner Amy. And we were doing it like just as a playthrough for her channel. And usually it's like, we do one recording a week and just where our time allows. But when we were playing that, we had to just keep going. We could not stop. We were just too invested in what was happening.
It's so
It is a
detailed too. Like you can click on anything and they've got recorded dialogue for all of it.
oh yeah.
I was playing I played a bunch of Steam Next Fest demos too, and it just felt even more gorgeous than the original was. It's so well designed, so thorough, and yeah, the voice acting is just incredible. But they both do such a stellar job.
I believe that the new one is called the Mermaid's
Mask.
Mask.
Yeah.
I was about to say the T, but it's like, no, that's the Paranormasight. Too many mermaids right now, apparently. Yeah, highly recommended. I have not had a chance to check out the demo yet. The only slight thing I'd have to say about the game is that I don't think the ending is 100% satisfying, but the journey there is really good.
Mm.
But let's get to everyone else's recommendation. So the 10th highest recommendation, according to our audience, is Paranormasight, The Seven Mysteries of Hanjo.
Wow.
Yeah.
This series really just it must have made a splash originally that I was just blind to, but it feels like in the recent month it's just skyrocketed to being just this really high regarded niche. It's so cool to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I picked it up recently myself. I haven't had a chance to play a ton of it, but I've seen a lot of the narrative, and the way it's structured is very interesting. The way it sort of introduces you into this world and then shifts some things that gives you a whole new perspective on it. And I'm still figuring out how it's all kind of connected as the storyline plays out. And this one is definitely more horror based.
Yeah.
The new one apparently is a bit more mystery based. So I like that they kind of have a way to differ it up. It's not always going to be the same tricks every time. And as I've mentioned to you before, when we talked about Paranormasight, some DS era ass puzzles sometimes.
Yeah. I really want to give this a go. Yeah, this is one on the wish list. I'll get around to it. But it looks wonderful. And we're in this wonderful period of time where these kind of games from pretty major companies are becoming more and more common, which is rad to see. Just like taking a few risks on something smaller, more experimental, but something that stays with you there.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I don't want to say visual novels are easy, but maybe they're a bit more cost effective.
Yeah,
because you get the art assets, you really use those art assets, and then you go from there. Wonderful music, by the way. There is some like it just infuses this game with a sense of creepiness that I can highly recommend. It's a pretty great playthrough, and I'm only maybe 3 hours in at best. So yeah, great recommendation there. And before we get to our number 9, I should also mention that just above it, actually tied with it, was Okami, which was actually number 75 in our greatest games of all time. So, I mean, also a great game, but I feel like it's also a bit more common. Like everybody kind of knows about Okami.
Yeah.
So there's that. So what's your next recommendation, John?
I'm going to go with a dead PlayStation franchise, Motorstorm Pacific Rift.
Ooh.
Which I think all the Motorstorm games are really cool. They're quite excite-trucky, but Pacific Rift is really polished. You've got this great balance of using your boost and trying to maintain it, cool it down in the water, and you've got these just excellent tracks. The first Motorstorm was quite grounded, like just regular dirt tracks, and then they got a lot more elaborate in the sequels. Just became really fun. It's also one of the few PlayStation 3 games where you can listen to your own music in the background, so it's quite cool to customize that. The online was fantastic back when it worked. Yeah, I think all the Motorstorm games are awesome. I wish they'd come back, but this one was my favorite of them all.
This is actually the only one I played a little bit of, and I did really enjoy it. I wish I spent more time with it. It's actually my dad's of all things.
Oh
He
wow,
picked it up for him because he was looking for racing games, and I was like, give this a try. And he got really into it. So,
yeah.
um, yeah,
We're in that era now. Like you have kart racers and you've got sim racers, but you don't really have that in between of that sort of just arcadey racer.
I
And
miss the era of Burnout.
yeah, yeah. And I think Motorstorm was just a nice little echo of that.
Hmm.
They
I
didn't take
here's
itself
hoping.
too seriously.
I have hopes for that new Star Wars game that made
Yeah,
by old
yeah,
devs of
good.
them. So
Mm,
we'll see what happens there.
yeah.
As for me, my next recommendation is going to be East 1 and 2 Chronicles.
Oh, okay.
So this is the more recent discovery on my part. Just getting into the East series, and everybody's talking about East 8, East 9, East 10. Proud Nordics just came out. Those are more common ones, but I always like to start at the beginning of a series to see how it evolves.
Yeah,
And so I started with East 1 and 2 Chronicles, and there's so many different versions of East. It is crazy. Like this version is based off a PSP version, which is based off the PC version, but then you have the TurboGrafx 16 version, which
yeah,
has a unique animated cutscene that started out with and narration that is not in these versions. It is just all over the place as far as that's concerned. But I think East 1 and 2 Chronicles, which is available on Steam, often goes on sale, is probably the best way to get into these early games. And it's so old school. They keep it old school. It's bump combat. There is no attack button. You run into enemies and it's all attack based, but it's snappy. It never feels bogged down. The combat is so quick and oddly satisfying to shift up what your equipment is, run into enemies based on where you run into the mat, like from the side or the back, you'll do more damage, and to just see them explode into bones and whatnot is oddly satisfying.
yeah.
And honestly, the story is quite enjoyable too. Like they're two very much connected games that uh really form one of the big building blocks of the action RPG genre that still holds up today.
Totally. I mean, it's been around since well the late
Eight-
80s. I want to say.
yeah, I want to say
Yeah,
I forget exactly how long it's been.
yeah.
So
I learned about the series maybe 2 decades ago through Happy Console Gamer, who is very
hmm.
passionate about them. Some great stories about the TurboGrafx games. And I've dabbled in the series every now and then. For some reason, I've not played 1 and 2. I've played a whole bunch of the spread of the series, but never where it started. That's something
So
I've got.
far, I've played East 1, 2, and um, Origin.
Yeah,
I played Origin ahead of the others because it's more directly connected to the storyline of 1 and 2. So it's just like, well, I'm familiar with it, have the characters in, and that East Origin is more button based as far as your combat.
yeah. It's a very
Uh,
actiony game.
yeah, and it's just more traditional. Still a ton of fun. Like I don't think I'm going to find an East game that I don't enjoy. So I'm looking forward to playing more of those. As for our audience's recommendation, at number 9, Cassette Beasts.
Oh, very cool, very cool. There's a lot of like Pokemon clones out there, and I think a lot of them struggle to have a personality that doesn't feel like, just a Pokemon knockoff. Cassette Beasts absolutely does. Very, very cool game.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard about this one. I know it's Pokemon like, and I know it has the aesthetic of, obviously cassettes and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar beyond that though.
I mean,
Uh, have you-
there isn't a whole lot more beyond that. Like it is very much just let's do a really cool take on Pokemon, where like the designs of the characters are very unique. There's like a musical themes to a lot of the interface and everything like that. It's got some original components as well, but I
Mhm.
think this just stands out among the big flood of Pokemon likes.
Yeah. Now, here's what seems to be the big thing. I'm just taking a quick look at the Wikipedia entry for it.
Mm.
Um, there are 120 different monsters in the game, but all of them can be fused during combat temporarily into another monster. With 120 monsters, that means there's over 14,000 fusions.
Yeah,
Good God.
It's definitely
That's,
one way to fill things up, isn't it?
yeah, no kidding. And we're impressed by Pokemon hitting 1,000.
Yeah. It also has that sort of Pokemon Black and White kind of visual style to it, whereas that sort of shifted 2D world where things are 3D with just those sort of layered sprites on them. So it looks really, really nice as well.
Mm-hmm. And these are definitely Pokemon fans. Let's look at reading into it. They have a permadeath mode. So if you
Yeah.
want to Nuzlocke this thing, you can do that. There's also a map randomizer. So you can just change up where you find. So I like this. I like that there's so much that you can kind of dive into and sort of set your experience however you want it to be. So
Yeah.
I've heard everybody I've heard play this game really enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
this seems like a really good recommendation. All right, let's get to our. By the way, the points total for these is are so low because there's just so many different recommendations. Paranormasight was only at 115. Cassette Beasts is at 120. There's usually only like a few points between all these. And like number one, for example, is at 272 points.
Okay.
So there's literally 160ish points between the number 10 and number one. So that's why I'm not going to. We're kind of issuing the usual format with this one.
Yeah. I still have no grasp what any of these could be. Like Cassette Beasts would not have been a guess for me. So it's super cool to see it there.
Yeah. So yeah, let's get to your next recommendation, John.
Okay. I'll go with a more of a recent one. Let's go with a Nintendo Switch game. I will go with Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble.
Mm.
Um, I don't think Monkey Ball is like that. It's not that niche. It's quite if you were to look at like the first games, they're like headliners of the GameCube. I think Banana Rumble was definitely one you had to pay attention to because the series had been in that decline for a long time. Trust in the series wasn't that high, and certain elements of it weren't great. Like the multiplayer was whatever, and so I think that kind of plummeted the review scores a little bit. But that core mode in Banana Rumble is crazy good. And it's mostly because of the spin dash, because they let you just launch yourself with a big burst of momentum from wherever you are, and they've really just gone ahead and made some of the coolest levels in the entire series. It is a speedrunner's dream; just lets you play how you want to play, um, and it's just infinitely replayable with how many ways you can approach these levels. And there's lots of cool quality of life things in there too, like you're able to rewind, you're able to just fly the camera around and see everything. You can slow it down if you want to. Like there's ways to learn, there's ways to just get through hard challenges if you want to do that. But all in all, I think it's just the best core Monkey Ball in the whole franchise. Not the most well-rounded. The party games aren't great, but that core mode, just simply excellent.
Right. I'm sad to admit that I've only played the original Super Monkey Ball. I never picked up two or any of
I mean, you've pretty much
other
peaked
sequels.
though.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But it's cool that there's at least you're getting close to what it was with
Yeah.
Banana Rumble. So that's nice. I know you're quite passionate about this one. So you know what? I'll meet your passion with my passion, which I think I feel like people overlook this one. I think that's why, even though it's part of a pretty major series, it's one of those that gets overlooked and maybe discarded at this point. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people view Lords of Shadow 2 as the death knell of the Castlevania franchise. And that is unfair because this game is freaking excellent. The problem is, and this applies to really all the Castlevania games that Mercury Steam worked on, their openings suck. Their openings are so bad and slow and don't give you a sense of what the actual game is like. They have a very exciting set piece to begin Lords of Shadow 2, and then you have this really slow moment where you're going into this really not great stealth section, and there are stealth sections throughout, but they're really not that big of a deal in the grand scheme. Like they never come up that common. And you have two distinct areas of like a modern day era and the actual castle. And this is a straight up Metroidvania. This is a 3D Metroidvania, which is not exactly common.
No.
And the combat gets really interesting. The story is pretty fun. You still have all the insane voice actors like Patrick Stewart's in here and Robert Carlyle. It's it honestly ended up as a top 10 Castlevania game for me. It's just the combat was that fun, the bosses were that cool. It's just really good. Actually, it's a pretty decent story twist too.
They were never really given that much of a chance. I think people just weren't ready to accept another shift for Castlevania. But in hindsight, it's something that's very easy to go back to and just kind of accept it for what it is, rather than needing to be, whatever the series becomes in the future. Just it is what it is in its own little bubble. Um, and I actually gave these a go when the Xbox Series X came out through backwards
Hmm.
compatibility. Um, and I thought they were great. As you say, it's a slow opening, but it does sort of slowly burn to be something that is very enjoyable.
Yeah, because I enjoyed the first Lords of Shadow. I thought Mirror of Fate was fine.
Yeah,
Played Lords of Shadow 2 and I bounced the first time I tried it. But then I stuck with it the next time and I just like, no, this is something special. This is something
yeah.
really good, especially how they just get into again the Metroidvania element rather than the level to level elements of Lords of Shadow 1. So
Mm.
if you're waiting for Dracula's no Belmont's Curse, maybe check out Lords of Shadow 2. I think it's on Steam. I want to say it's on Steam.
Maybe. I'm not
I'm
sure.
not sure.
Is that era where it's not guaranteed everything came to PC?
I know. All right. As for the number 8 recommendation from our audience, that would be Triangle Strategy.
Oh, an interesting one. I did bounce off this because it was quite slow. I enjoyed
Mhm.
it. Like it's gorgeous. The strategy itself is great, but they did yap a lot in between the combat, and I think I got a little bit tired of that.
Uh, I have not had a chance to try this myself. However, Amy did play it, and she does not mind long cutscenes. She likes getting into that world, and
Yeah.
it was she seemed to really enjoy it. Like she got sucked into it. I don't really see her playing tactical games too often, so that felt like a bit of an accomplishment. And I'd see her kind of agonize over some of the decisions you have to make because there's so many different endings that are possible with all of these.
Mhm.
um yeah, it's I've always the people who've played it seem to really enjoy it, but you do have to settle in. Like you're going to be listening to these people talk for quite a while.
Yeah, strap in. Yeah, like the dialogue itself is fine. It's just there's long intervals between actually playing the game. I really enjoyed the VR version as well because it was a mixed
Oh,
reality one, and so the tabletop battlefields just sort of float in your living room or whatever room you're in. You can just sort of pick up your units with your hands. That was a really cool use of VR. Um, yeah, I
hmm.
mean, it's an interesting recommendation though. It's like you don't hear about it that much. It's kind of like the not the black sheep, but when you think of HD 2D games, this is probably the one that you hear of less
Yeah,
than
it's sort
any
of
of
like
them.
the forgotten HD 2D in
Yeah,
a lot of ways.
yeah,
Which I guess makes it a good recommendation that even though it's maybe not the one talked about the most, um, here you go. Here, this is it's still quite good. It still has that enjoyability to it. But I even remember in the demo, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are talking. Like I was trying to like just show off a bit. I think for this like here's the first 30 minutes and it's just all talking like, oh crap.
mhm,
But it's if you're fine with that, if you just want to lose yourself into a story, seems like a good great game for that.
yeah.
All right. Well, what's your next recommendation, John?
I'll go with this one. So I think most of us here probably feel like we've experienced most of the Game Boy library, like the must-have games that you've played. Link's Awakening, you've played Mario Land 2, you played Game Watch Gallery, you played Metroid 2. So everything feels very known, like Pokemon. Um, so it was really cool when I got to experience a game that I feel is of that caliber. I am going to say Frog Game, Natalie. Again, that's of that caliber that we just didn't get, which is the Frog for Whom the Bell Tolls. It is so cool. It feels of the quality of something like Link's Awakening, where it's just this ultra quirky world, unlike anything else out there. And you just get to go through this light-hearted, nostalgic game that you feel like you probably should have played back then. It feels so comforting and homey, but you finally get to play it now. And yeah, it ticks all the right boxes. Yeah, it feels ultra nostalgic for something that I only played like 3 years ago.
Mhm.
But I loved it, and like there's parts of things that I don't think is going to click with everybody because there's not really combat in this game. combat's kind of like a puzzle where you have to um, see what you can make it through, because you don't actually hit anybody. You just sort of go into this big cartoonish, a dirt pile scramble, and it's about whether you can last it long enough to survive. So it's a game of trying to increase your health so you can get through combat scenarios. It's a very off kilter adventure game, but every other
It's
pillar
like a
of it,
comedy version of Ys. It
yeah,
sounds
kinda,
like.
yeah. Every other pillar of it's so good though. I wish they'll translate this. Maybe we get a remake at some point, but it's such a cool game.
A remake seems unlikely. I don't know, maybe, but it seems unlikely. But there's some really cool ones like this, and I think people would also be really interested in Ionuma's original game. I forget what it's called. Like,
Oh, you're thinking
um,
of
is it
uh,
is it Amazing Island or Fantasy Island, or what is it called?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's just it's like
It
one word.
Yeah, it's Zelda before Zelda. Marvelous and Another Treasure Island.
Marvelous.
Thank you,
That's it.
Natalie.
Yeah.
There it is. That's another one that'd be cool to translate just because of that history.
Yes, it would.
So, as for my recommendation, I'm going to keep the tactics train rolling and say La Pucelle Tactics,
Oh.
which is also more widely available nowadays as one of those Nippon-ichi collections with the PSP version La Pucelle Ragnarok, and this came out around the same time as the Disgaea games, and is kind of set in the same world. Like, you can have like bonus boss fights against the characters from the first game, that sort of thing. But where it differs is that it shifts. Like, you have the battles on the typical map, but then you go to a side view with the actual combat, and then you have it play out there. And then you can also have all these colored squares on there that you can purify, and I believe it can set off like chain reactions where it just hits all the enemies there, and then anything caught in the middle of it can actually purify the monsters, and you can actually have them join you afterwards. So it leads to a lot of extra strategy of like, how do you approach the map itself, also almost more so than the enemies on the map. So it just, and it has the classic Nippon-ichi like jokey style. You play as a ostensible nun, but she likes to hit things, so she's she's not exactly innocent or anything like that, but she's good-hearted, and there's just a lot of fun characters in there. It's very charming and very, to me, PS2 era. So I think La Pucelle Tactics is a you just don't hear about it anymore. This guy has moved on, but La Pucelle is gone.
This is one I've seen the box art for a bunch, but I've never actually looked into the game before. I was just looking at some of the screenshots, and I want to play this. I was even looking at prices. It's not that expensive.
Like I said, if you want it, it's on Switch along with NIS Classics Volume 3.
Dang.
So
okay.
yeah, and that's like the updated version that was released on PSP. And honestly, that one I believe comes with that one comes with Rhapsody, which is another like underrated gem.
Awesome.
So it's like,
yeah,
I think that's a great collection.
Yeah.
There's mine for some more tactics enjoyment. But number 7 for our audience recommendations is one we've talked about a little bit before, Live Alive.
Cool.
Which
so another HD2D game.
Another HD2D game that did not make the top 10 of all time, which is weird. But we did recently talk about it because it was part of our poll about the top 10 Square Enix franchises excluding Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
So it's definitely recognized, definitely recommended, and hard not to agree.
It's very influential as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the musical flair and the DNA has found its way into games like Undertale, and a few other like more modern RPGs. And in this era, it was quite rare for RPGs to not be medieval. Like Earthbound Mother, that was like the exception. I think Live Alive was before Pokemon. Like, it was like 1994, 5.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So like this would definitely like it goes across multiple eras, but you get to have this sort of RPG adventure feel in the modern day, in the future. It just taps into settings which were very alien for RPGs, and even to this day, I think it's still something that feels quite novel. And it's just so cool how everything just comes together as well once you have played through all these, characters, and you get to just merge them all.
Yeah. Again, you have it's as you said, it's time frames that we don't typically see. Although it's funny how some of these time frames have become their own games. Like you got
Yeah,
prehistoric, you got that in Chrono Trigger. In China, you got Suikoden, essentially.
yeah,
Japan, name a name an RPG. Wild West, Wild Arms. That sort of idea. And I think the other cool thing is that not only are you in different eras playing the same way, they're all played in just like they use the same tactical system to do completely different things. It blew my mind when I did modern day or present day, and it plays out like a fighting game.
yeah.
That was wild. I
Like
was
an
like, oh,
arcade mode, like just like going through all the fighters, yeah. And it's like it's a merge of tactics and turn-based RPG, but you're not going through a big tactics board just taking everybody down. It's just a fairly small square. But every move, like almost like it's like active time battle, but every time you move, you're advancing that bar. So there's like, do you use your moves for distance? Do you use it for attack? And then when you're in certain places, you can use more powerful attacks. So that there's a lot of strategy to that system. It
mhm.
never gets dull.
No, not at all. It was extremely just lovely game. Would love to see other games that were released in the SNES from Square Enix that never got translated before and just redone in HD 2D.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so cool. There's a lot of good options there, but we'll see if that actually happens or not. What's your next recommendation, John?
My next recommendation, I will go for this one. We'll go with Harvestella, another more modern
Ooh.
one. I've talked about this game a little bit before. It's a it's an RPG first. It's an action RPG first, where you basically go through the story, through new locations of the world, battling your way through. But all of the other pillars supporting all the action is done through farming, and so you have to, every morning you use the seeds that you found in the overworld or in all these dungeons in these fields, and you plant them at your home before you set back out in the world, and you can either use that to sell and get new equipment, or you can use it for making or for as health items, or you can merge them together and sell those on. So there's so many layers to that farming that aids the action adventure RPG. You get a really cool story, really cool world, great writing, but it's just the way that it doesn't go too far in on like the cozy game feeling. It's just a small pillar, and I think just like dipping its toe in there just scratches a really satisfying itch. We just get this routine to every part of the day, um, and it just keeps you going. Like like when you finish a day and like you feel like you're done exploring, but like, oh, I want to do this and this and this in the farm, and then you want to reap the rewards of what you've done in the farm in the RPGs. It's very hard to put down. Just this really great loop, and I had so much fun with this one.
I have it, but I have not had a chance to try it out myself. But it looked like just from playing the demo, I was like, this. There's something strong here that I really like
Yeah,
because I'm not usually a farming sim guy, but that one definitely clicked with me. And you know what? I'll tie it into one of my recommendations:
sure.
Sakuna of Rice and Ruin.
Yeah, yeah, two farming
Very
games.
Yeah, very similar idea, except in this case, it's focused on one crop and one crop only that is highly concentrated in one area. You're growing rice, and you're a harvest goddess. The better your rice crop, the stronger you get. So you have this section of like you need to grow rice in order to feed yourself and this family you're working with, and then that gets you stronger to go out and get further and further of away from basically your home base to take on new 2D challenges, expand your move set, and go further. But I think the thing that really stuck with me as far as the farming element, because the 2D action is good, solid, fun. Nothing too crazy or different, but a good time.
Yeah,
What really made it interesting to me is how the rice growing is handled, because I started up and I'm so used to something like Harvest Moon or what have you, where it's so grid based. It's like bump, bump, bump. It's just whatever. You don't have to even think about it. No, you have to actually
Hmm.
time out where you put the rice in order to have it spaced just right as you're going along so it can actually grow well and it changes the effect of the rice. And the cool thing about it is that as you get further and as you get better at growing rice, then they start introducing where they have now here's a square guideline that you can aim for to put that in, and you can decide how long you go. Do you want to make it white rice? Do you want to make it brown rice? That changes up stuff. And so it's the fact that you can take this one crop and make it so interesting and then tie it into the action element, I think is really cool.
Yeah.
It addicted me in a way that I was just not expecting.
No, it's super cool. Like we get farming games all the time. Like there was a point where Nintendo Directs were like half farming games. Not so much now, but they definitely got like a lot of them in there. And it's neat how you can get so many different types of using that structure, because you can either just go all the way in with a farming game, or you can take like the most addictive part and put it in something else. And that I think that's like the most satisfying thing you can do with one right now.
Yeah, it really feels like it. As for the number 6 recommendation from our audience, they suggested Penny's Big Breakaway.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! This is one of those games that I think you can play and just come away with a bad impression. I think
Mhm.
Ash did. He didn't click with him. Um, and it's one of those platformers where if you just play it straight, I don't think you're gonna like it. Because it's if you don't use all the moves at your disposal, Penny's quite slow. Like if
Mhm.
you're not riding on a yo-yo, just running around doing regular jumps, it feels pretty standard. But if you are to, do a propelled loop in the air to get momentum, and then pull out your yo-yo and skid down a hill, use its momentum to go high in the air and do a little yo-yo like loop in the air and fling yourself. It has a lot of expression and utility, and it becomes really really fun. So definitely don't just take this game as it comes. You've got to really get the most out of that move set, and then you'll find something really satisfying in there.
It's something I think definitely keep in mind there because I actually tried out the new Demon Tides,
Mm,
and I think that's also in the same way that if you're not using the full range of movement, it's not going to feel
yeah.
as satisfying. But when you do, that's when it clicks. And it's something I want to give another try to because I came away similar where it's like, I don't know if I'm really feeling this, but I see all these other people just love this game. It's like I'm missing something about this. I'm just, what am I not finding here? And I want to try to do that because uh I don't know, finding some way to have it all linked together, I think would probably be really satisfying. I just failed to do that. So like I guess I'm gonna blame myself more than the game in those cases. So
Mm.
I can see the same hearing about like the same thing happened with Penny, which I've not tried yet. Um, I think that I can kind of compare the two.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also just super, super stylish. They've made
Mhm.
their own bespoke engine, and it's like a super smooth Sega Saturn feel. Like looking at the art books of like Sonic R or Sonic 3D Blast, it's like that but come to life in really smooth 3D. Um, it ran a bit weird on Switch at launch, but they ironed that stuff out pretty well. And yeah, now it's just wonderful. So if you loved Sonic Mania, if you love Christian Whitehead and T Lopes and everyone involved in that game, like the audio visual experience, it's all in there. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, definitely give it a go.
Yeah, I think it's worth a shot. I think especially because, as you said, they've improved things over time. So
Yeah.
I don't know how successful it was. Hopefully successful enough they could make another game, whether in Penny or just something else. Hope to see them continue working on that. Before we do our next recommendation, there was another from our top of all time.
Mm,
That essentially was in the next position. Unicorn Overlord, which
ah,
originally got 280 in our best of all time.
that's right. Great
And
game.
I mean, it's vanillaware. It's fan. I only played the demo so far. I loved what I played of that demo. Uh, definitely callbacks to Ogre Battle, and
Mhm.
hard to argue. It's
Yeah.
really good. But yeah, let's get to your next recommendation, John.
Okay, I will go with DoDonPachi Resurrection on Xbox 360, also modern platforms now. It's a shmup. It's a crazy shmup. I went through a big period of playing a lot of shmups. I loved Gunbird. I loved the original DoDonPachi, Ikaruga, Radiant Silvergun. But DoDonPachi Resurrection really stood out because it's just absolutely nuts with how much is going on screen. And while I'm okay at this game, I have fun with them. I definitely have to use like a lot of continues to get through it. But I've got a friend who is he's not human. I handed him the controller, and he was able to avoid everything. Like there's this onslaught of bullets everywhere, and he was just doing these microscopic flicks of the stick just to inch in and out. It was it's like unlike anything I've ever seen watching him play, and it gave me this new respect for the genre. So even though I can never be that good, uh, I love this game. And yeah, 360's actually got quite a few good shmups. Like this was exclusive for a while. There's also Death Smiles, which is really good.
Yeah, I always remember seeing Death Smiles in stores, and
Yeah.
it's so many shmups for some reason. I've always been kind of terrible at the genre, and I've definitely not played a ton of it, a ton of them. But God, seeing somebody actually good at the games, like how
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 do you spell it? It's DoDonPachi, if that makes it any easier for you.
Patchy is Pachi, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, it is so colorful, vibrant, fun. And you can also play it in the Tate mode on Switch, where you can just put it on vertically. Good on
Nice.
Switch too, because you can just knock that stand out and have a lot of support and play in a nice vertical mode. So this is more a shout out to the shmup genre in general, but that was one that really clicked with me.
That's fair. That's awesome. As for my recommendation, I'm gonna go with uh let's go with something old school.
Yeah.
Older school, I guess. Snowboard Kids.
Snowboard Kids.
For the Nintendo 64. I basically it's a snowboard game that plays like a kart racer is the best way to put it, with these really fun designs for all the well, snowboard kids. And it's just quoted like you're what's really neat about it is that you're going downhill, and it's still lap based. You're going down the hill, you get to the lift, you go back up and you do it again. And so you're able to sort of learn the course a bit more than the typical um snowboard game. Without They just put it all there and all at once. But you're also collecting money, and by using that money, you can upgrade your attacks and so forth. And it just, I don't know. I just remember trying it out with a friend and really just clicking with it and having a lot of fun. I've never really played the sequel. I know they had another game later on, I think for the DS or something, that completely changed the art style. It was not so good. God, I hope this comes to NSO, Nintendo Classics. Like, it so deserves to be on the N64 bit, so more people can try it. It's by Atlas, so maybe it has a chance. I don't know.
Maybe. I always thought the guy in the box art looked like Rayman, and that was like a big standout. This might have been the first Atlas game that I played, actually.
I think it's probably my first Atlas game.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
And
sure.
likewise, I never played the sequel, but the first one was just something stood out about it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just I think it's one of those games where, hey, if you played it, you got really into it. Um, and I think the art style just really does help sell it.
Yeah.
It's just so unique and fun. And then I was looking here, I found the Snowboard Kids on DS, and it's oh god, it's going for the modern anime aesthetic, and it's just
Oh no, yeah, this could be anything.
yeah, it just lacks the heart of what it is, which is such a shame. But maybe it'll come back. That'd be cool. I still think it's a lot of fun. I'm gonna have the comparison here for the live audience, where there's the original, and this then what we got on DS. It's just like no.
Bring back the Snowboard Kids.
Yes, I think they deserve it. So, yep. As for our audience's recommendation, number 5 is Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair.
Yeah, what a redemption that was. After Yooka-Laylee, which wasn't bad, but it was underwhelming. Like you put your money forward to a Banjo-Kazooie reboot, and what you get is something that's pretty good. But I think we no one really had faith in the brand after that. And
No.
then Impossible Lair comes along, and it is infinitely better, more polished than the main game. Um, and it was also in that time where like high quality like 2.5D platformers were quite rare to come across outside Nintendo. And
Mhm.
Playtonic just basically gave us another Donkey Kong Country Returns type game, like very
Oh
similar to
yeah.
Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, it's sort of like they're trying to ape Banjo, and all of a sudden they not really quite do it, and
Yeah,
then they set it off to Donkey Kong and just nail it.
yeah,
Like it's a completely different flavor to something like Tropical Freeze.
yeah.
Just the way the overworld is handled, the way the levels are shifted. It takes so many of the ideas that kind of fell flat on in its first game and just makes them work.
Mhm.
Like I think the humor is better. I think the characters work better. I think the gameplay is better. Every aspect of it is just so much fun, and it's crazy to me that they have these characters where they have one 3D game that's not great 2D game, and then a remake of that 3D game that makes it way better. And that's
Yeah,
all they put out. It's just like how.
yeah, it's crazy. They also publish games as well, so there's more to
Mhm.
them. But you touched on the overworld for a moment there, and it's like the next logical step after DKC3, where you have this overworld that you can roam around, and they've made this one a lot more interactive. Like there's a bit more
Mhm.
to do between levels. It's cool that you can just go for the last level at the beginning, like kind of Breath of the Wildy. Like this is the scope of a first studio game. The first Yooka-Laylee was overly ambitious, and
Mhm.
this one just showed like what they're capable of, and what they're capable of is fantastic games. It's
Yeah.
just it takes a long time apparently.
And again, the way that you have like the books change things up, like find a
Yeah.
way to pour water on it and it becomes a water level, that sort of thing. It's gets really interesting in how they manage to do all that. I don't highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. So, yep. What's your next recommendation, John?
Okay, I will now I'll go for a Final Fantasy game if that's okay, Derrick. Not a mainline one though.
All right.
I
What do you
will
got?
go for one that you can't buy anymore. I'll go for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles: My Life as a King.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, of course it's coming. I love this game. I went back to play it not that long ago. I think it was for maybe that top 100 Wii game list I did. Because I thought like, maybe these are just old thoughts. Maybe the game's not as good as you remember it being. And I was playing like most games in that video for 20 minutes, half an hour to get footage. This one, I think I played for like 4 hours straight. It is so addictive. Like you start off in this kingdom with nothing, and you slowly end up with like an empire because you're building like house by house. And every time you build something, like you get new adventurers, you can like send on missions. Like they go to dungeons for you. So it's just this resource management game where you're sending people away to do quests. They bring back money, and you're able to like build more things with that money. This is this constant loop. You can then like put like a baker's in there, or you can put a an armory, and so everything is feeding into like constantly building up your adventurers who then bring things back for you. It's just a brilliant loop.
Mhm.
Very wonderful vibe game too, with just excellent music. Listen to it if you can. There's like three variants of the main theme. They're all wonderful, just ultra cozy vibes. And I think it just showed what WiiWare could be like. This brilliant 40 megabyte game that looked as good as any other Wii game. Yeah, it's probably my favorite Final Fantasy spin-off.
It's a shame they probably will never bring this back.
Yeah, they should. There's two of them. Dark Lord's
Because
good too, but the first
I
one,
I
yeah.
completely missed them, but you just describing them as like that sounds like a satisfying loop. And there's something to be said about a satisfying loop where everything feeds into one another.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where I get my addiction.
They should bring it back. It can't be that hard. There's no motion controls in
I
them.
just make it another digital release. Combine the two, pop it on the eShop for $15.
Yeah, yeah. Do it.
So now, come on, Square, what you doing? For my next recommendation, you know what? I'm going to do a Square Enix game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Radical Dreamers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is the Chrono Trigger sequel that you probably didn't know existed. It is part of the Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers collection. It's the game that was not really talked about as much because there's not really visuals. This was originally a Japanese only Satellaview game
Yeah.
that followed up on it. Followed up on this events of Chrono Trigger with some brand new characters, and it's the way it slowly reveals how it's a Chrono Trigger game is really interesting, and it's a text adventure that's just a lot of fun where you're exploring this castle. You got the text coming down. You can get into random fights, and so your choices actually matter. And it's if you hesitate too much on what you choose to do, like the enemy's coming for you, do you dodge left? Do you block with your shield? Do you dodge right? And you're like, and then bam, they hit you because you took too long. It's much more active than you would ever believe. And there's a few visuals here and there to help emphasize some things. And the writing is quite fun. The characters are well developed. The way that the things come about. And show you stuff is like, and it's not so big of an area that you lose track of where you're going, despite the fact there's no visuals. You still learn like, I recognize this place, I recognize this thing. So you're able to run around and find everything. And it even has the new game plus element where you beat the main campaign, you go back in, there's ways to find new endings, and it can be completely wacky, it can be serious, it can they go in all the different directions that Chrono Trigger itself does. And it makes for an interesting midpoint between the ideas that would be fleshed out and significantly changed in a lot of ways for Chrono Cross and still being within that Chrono Trigger era.
Totally. I bought the Chrono Cross re-release primarily for this. Because there were some problems at launch with Chrono Cross where like it ran worse than PlayStation 1, it had some weird AI textures. Some of that stuff's still in there. But this portion of it made none of that matter. It's just so cool to finally get an official translation. It was new. It was new to most of us. So that that was rad.
We had a fan translation at one point, and I don't. I heard people talk about it, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. But seeing it actually played out, it's a good time. It's really fun. As for our next recommendation from our audience, Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh yeah. It's such a distinct one. Like you look at any screenshot and there's nothing else that looks like this game.
No. Not at all. I've not played it, but I always see it. And it's like, man, I gotta check it out at some point because I don't even know how to describe it. Like you look at like the sort of the title screen is like, oh, that looks Game Boy-ish. And then you look at the actual visuals in games like, oh, geez, there's something crazy going on here.
Super stylish. Yeah. It's one that I need to play a lot more of. It's one I kind of booted up, thought was really cool and kind of dipped, but I need to go back and play. But yeah, all I can really say is just super distinct looking.
Yeah. For those wondering what it's actually all about, just to give a quick breakdown from the wiki, it's basically it's about a ship that disappeared and then has since reappeared in 1803, and all 60 passengers and crew are either dead or missing. You need to figure out the fate of them, including what their names are, how they met their fate, and who or what their killer was, and their location if they're actually alive, which apparently leads to a massive logic puzzle about how it all is. So it almost feels like a different version of like Outer Wilds, or maybe less so Blueprints, but a bit closer to Outer Wilds, I'd say.
Yeah.
Also, I did not realize this. Same developer as Papers, Please. Holy crap.
I didn't realize that either. Wow.
Yeah. Second game from Lucas Pope.
2 bangers.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap. Let's see. But yeah, unfortunately we have not played this, so it's, hey, we're getting recommendations too, John.
Yeah.
So apparently we need to play this.
It's always nice.
Yeah. Just above this, that was also on the top 100, Bug Fables: The Everlasting Sapling, which was previously 170 in the best of all time. So yeah. Haven't played that yet. Gonna be playing it relatively soon, but
it's a very cool game. Yeah. I mean, if you love Paper Mario, you'll love that.
Yeah, filled in that Paper Mario gap for a lot
Yeah,
of people until
yeah.
we got the remake.
Mhm.
All right. What's your next recommendation, John?
I will go with ChuChu Rocket. Is that too
Oh,
basic?
I don't know. Like it feels like it's to me, it feels like one of those common things. Like, yeah, of course, ChuChu Rocket, but
Yeah.
also Sega hasn't done anything with ChuChu Rocket in a long time, other than that mobile game that they've since delisted.
There's people who are born after the Dreamcast that maybe haven't had a chance to play ChuChu Rocket because it was ported to Game Boy Advance. I think that was it.
I played it via mobile.
Oh, mobile as well.
There's a mobile version like of the actual game, not the later one that came out. I think on Apple Arcade or something like that.
Mhm.
That's how I played it. I played it at my old job. It was just it's
How was
time to
that?
kill.
Because obviously on Dreamcast, the face buttons relate to directions. So like Y is up, B is right. How's that on a phone?
If I remember correctly, it was drag and drop. It was on the side, and you just pop, pop, pop. You
Oh,
just
okay.
drag them to where they need to go.
Well, one thing I don't think a phone can recapture really is the multiplayer of ChuChu Rocket.
Oh no, it definitely did not have that.
Yeah, that's like my most fun memories. Is just my core friend group at school would go in my house with 4 controllers plugged into the Dreamcast, and you'll get like your 4 little zones to get the mice into, and it is this constant battle for trying to get the mice to come to you, but also trying to get the cats to go to everyone else, and you can only place down so many tiles before they start to disappear. So you've really got to think about am I going to sabotage them and like sabotage myself getting the mice? And then like you get those mystery ones where everyone like swaps places, and all of a sudden like you're getting the stuff that you were trying to get somebody else. So it's really frantic. It's frantic just to keep track of where you are. And I thought this would be such a logical Switch game, especially with like the split Joy-Con. That's perfect for this. All
Mhm.
these years on, Diddly Squad. But it's such a great single player game, but I think it really thrives in that multiplayer environment. And the Dreamcast is like the only place you can do that.
I'd pick this up in a heartbeat because the main gameplay is a lot of fun. I'd love to see what it's like, especially added online. I'd play ChuChu Rocket with you, John.
And this had online on the Dreamcast. This had online all the way back
That's
in like
insane.
1998.
Holy crap, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I guess it was
like
Fantasy Star
local
Online
four
time, so
player,
yeah.
online 4 player.
Dang.
Crazy.
That's just impressive.
Yeah,
Sega, what are you doing? Seriously.
yeah. Make Dreamcast 2, bring back ChuChu Rocket.
Simple.
Yeah, easy.
Everybody else is messing up. That's how you save that's how you save gaming right
Yeah,
there.
100%. Also, if this were on Switch too, like a mouse would be perfect for ChuChu Rocket as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, maybe
Like I said,
placing tiles. I guess you can just use the face button still. Yeah,
yeah, you could use the FaceTime, but like I said, drag and drop definitely works. Like I was definitely moving as fast as I can. Like
yeah,
it did work in a mobile setting.
cool.
Um, so yeah. For my next recommendation, I think I'm gonna go with Unsighted.
Okay.
Uh, I have still yet to beat this one because I'll be honest, it can be a very stressful game. This is a bit of a stress inducer. However, there is an option to turn off the stress. Basically, it is a top-down Metroidvania. Where you play as an android trying to discover their long lost person, while also helping out other people, the society of androids, where basically an infection is spreading, and their way of connecting to and getting energy has been cut off. So as you're exploring, you're also not only you finding upgrades and monsters and all this other stuff, you're finding ways to extend the life and the power of people. And that you, as you talk to each NPC, it'll show you what how much time they have left. So not only is time ticking down normally, but every time you die, more time ticks down because you just lost that amount of time being passed out. So then so that adds an extra bit of stress, but also you got to decide who you give that time to, because hey, this person runs this kind of shop, they can get you extra perks, so maybe you want to do that. Or but this person that really doesn't have any kind of connection, doesn't really give you anything extra, but they are going to die soon, they are going to shut off and have this bad thing happen to them. Do you save them or do you go more utilitarian? It makes for really interesting back and forth about how you play through it. And again, that whole aspect of the game can be turned off, so you don't have to worry about time limits, because the core game is a lot of fun. There's a really great combat, and it just really cool to run around in. And I don't know, it was definitely a favorite. I need to go back and finish it.
This is one that I wishlisted a while ago because the art style is super striking, but I haven't had a chance to play, unfortunately.
It's excellent. It's excellent, and I'm so excited for the next game, as Dead Off the Line is mentioning in the chat right now, Abyss X Zero, which takes Mega Man Legends take Mega Man Legends visuals and turn it into a 3D Metroidvania. Yeah. Hell yes.
I'm following that one very closely. That looks outstanding.
Yes. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. Highly, I heard they got looked over pretty badly, so that's why I want to shout it out as much as possible, because it's just so nice. But as for the number 3 recommendation from our audience, that would be Astral Chain.
Cool, very cool one. It's a funny one to think of like as a niche, because I think as time's gone on, it is kind of one. But in its release time, it was like a major Switch game.
Yeah, it was a very big deal, because this was a 2018 or 2019 release.
I want to say 2019.
Yeah, so it was still relatively early on in the Switch's lifespan, and it 2019, and everybody was talking about it, but nobody's talked about it since. That's the weird thing, is it came, it went, and now it's done.
Yeah, it is very unique though. Like you look at it, it's got those neon colors to it. It's super striking. It's a uncommon 30 FPS action game, but it doesn't matter that much, because it's not a high action one really. It's more of a methodical one where like you're using that chain between you and your legion to like tie people up, or it's almost like how Wonderful 101 did things, but more of an extension of the natural character rather than, you know, having to use your finger or anything like that. So you've got that really cool sort of compromise between thinking and actually whacking stuff. But you get these great variety of those different legions too. Like you got the bow one, you've got like the animal one. There's lots of just great advancements on this genre that I haven't really been seen before. So I think about it quite a bit, but it's just something I don't know if it's ever going to continue. They said it was going to be a trilogy, but I think things at Platinum have gone a bit haywire.
Yeah, a bit wonky. And then the guy who designed it left.
They've got their own company now. I forget the name of it. It's not Clover's. It's a different one.
It's something separate.
Somewhere else.
Because he also did the he was the game designer, lead game designer for Nier Automata. So
that's right.
That aspect as well. I've not played Astral Chain. Ironically enough, this is the next game I'm streaming. Actually, starting the stream of it tonight as we're recording this. So I'll be playing this very soon, and I'll have much more fully formed opinions after that point. But it's not like it did poorly. It sold over 1.3 million copies. It just didn't stick in the mindset. I think people like think about it when they think of Platinum, but not in the same way as I think other Platinum games. It's
Data for Lions, the new studio is Ill Game Studio. So it's not impossible that Nintendo approached them, like, and not Platinum for an Astral Chain 2. Like that could happen.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. But I'd call that a solid recommendation.
Yeah.
All right, John, what's your next recommendation?
All right, we're running out of games here. I'll go with Rhythm Thief: The Emperor's Treasure.
This is one I've heard you talk about quite a bit. I picked it up before the 3DS eShop shut down.
Nice.
I've not played it.
Okay. Well, the day will come. Great game though. It's super stylized. Got this wonderful anime style, going around Paris as like this phantom detective, going like 2 different lives. And the story is like, it's very Professor Layton in its structure, where you've got, you know, you're roaming around this sort of point and click world. But instead of puzzles, you've got rhythm games, and some of them are, you know, playing to more like sort of poppy music, and other ones more bombastic ones. But the core Rhythm Thief theme is one of the best of any game I've heard. It's just so well composed, awesome. And all the rhythm games are quite different too. You've got some where you're just sort of, you know, matching to the arrows. You've got some where it's more mini gamey, a bit more like Rhythm Heaven. A great mix of all of them. But yeah, I'll describe this as like Professor Layton and Rhythm Heaven combined. just with this totally different flair. Yeah, it's wonderful, and it's a huge shame that this has never been ported anywhere else. It's on 3DS, and it's probably always going to be on 3DS.
Is it touchscreen or buttons?
There's some touchscreen, but I think you
Okay.
you can get around that though. I think you could get around.
I mean, Square Enix found a way to translate theater rhythm into buttons, so it's not like it's impossible.
Yeah, right.
So it's just a matter of Sega actually doing something with it, which is the problem with ChuChu Rocket. So
Yeah,
I think what it comes down to, John, is that you really need to just give Sega a kick in the pants.
I do. They keep resurrecting all these games no one's heard of. Who knows what Streets of Rage is or Shinobi? It's all about ChuChu Rocket and Rhythm Thief.
Yeah, that's the true way you save Sega. Not that I don't think even Sega's done doing that bad, honestly. So, yeah. All right, time for me to go 3DS. Codename Steam. Codename Steam. I will never forget that I was the only one excited for this game when it was announced. And I can tell you that for a fact because I was there in the room where they announced it for the first time at E3. And everybody there watching the first gameplay footage is just sort of like, this is like they were so confused. Meanwhile, I am bouncing in my seat because it reminds me of Valkyria Chronicles, which is my favorite PlayStation 3 game. And to see it, like it's definitely not exactly the same in the way
it's not far off though.
But it's also pretty close. Like it's because you still have the aiming aspect. You're still like on the floor, but you don't have the overall tactical edge as well. And there's no RPG element to it. Instead, you're just in the middle of it, and you have to sort of. You can only see what your units see, which makes for some interesting tactics as well, as far as figuring out where to go, and then using all these just characters from literature and so forth to as tactical units. It's a lot of fun. Like, my God, Codename Steam is just so full of personality, and it will never come back because it flopped. It's so flopped, and I'm just like, damn it.
It's a very un-Nintendo game. Like they usually thrive on their own characters, and so to take these more like historical characters, it's definitely doesn't feel like their usual flavor. But it genuinely is really fun. The art style is pretty great too. You can pretend it's Fire Emblem by I think like scanning the Marth amiibo, and Marth is suddenly there. Yeah, it's an interesting and fun game. It's also dirt cheap. I found a copy for like £1 recently, so you can probably find it anywhere. Like go on eBay, get like for the price of one brand new game, you can get like 70 Codename Steams. So that's a pretty
yeah. It definitely so cheap. Oh man. I was looking like how did it sell, and I can't find exactly what it is. However, the only metric we have is in its first week on sale in Japan, Codename Steam sold fewer than 1,865 copies at retail.
Wow.
Oof. That is a reason it's cheap.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
It is good.
It'll eventually go up in price. Maybe.
One day the people will realize. One day you'll do a video with Codename Steam, and you're going to raise the price single-handedly.
Yeah, and nobody will watch it.
Yeah.
But everybody I've heard that actually played the game love it. Just nobody wants to give it that chance. So give it that chance. I think you will find a really fun tactics game. All right. Let's get to the number 2 recommendation from our audience, and that would be the Somnium Files. And this is one I've heard a lot about. I have not tried it myself, but people love this game.
Yeah. I played a bit of this on Game Pass when they added it, and I really enjoyed it. And then I unsubscribed from Game Pass and didn't play anymore. But the day will come where I will come back to this. I really did like it. It was super flavorful. But yeah, I don't physically own it. I've got to change that at some point.
Yeah, I gotta do the same. It's I mean, as far as pedigree, it's written and directed by the Zero Escape creator, Kotaro Uchikoshi. So that's pretty awesome. I've heard that the plot definitely goes places. Like, it gets pretty intense, at least in this first game, quite a bit. and just the actual aspect of figuring out these puzzles or mysteries is apparently just a lot of fun. And I've purposely kept away from it because I don't want to be spoiled. It's definitely one of those games that thrives off you not knowing what you're getting into.
Yeah.
But it's on my list of like, man, I really need to check this game out.
100%. The time will come. The time will come with every game that we skipped out on here. Eventually.
Eventually. We just need to go into retirement, John, so we can actually play all the games.
That's the dream. That's the dream. Yeah. Don't work anymore. Just don't buy any more games. Just play what we have.
Yeah.
Happy
There's
life.
so many games to play. It's ridiculous. We could stop buying new games right now and we would be satisfied.
Yeah.
Especially with all these recommendations. Good God. Speaking of, I should also mention that we got two more recommendations from the audience that were already on the best of all time list. Next up was Outer Wilds, which was number 29 in best of all time. Yeah, Outer Wilds is just a fantastic puzzle solving game as you're exploring the universe. So can't really say much beyond that. It's just one you gotta have to try for yourself. And then above that, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim at 105 in best of all time. And I've been currently playing through that, and this has quickly become one of my favorite games of all time.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
It is like it is hard for new games for me to jump into like top 10 territory for me, top 10s from in general, because I feel like is it going off recency bias, that sort of thing? No, this one just fully deserves it.
Yeah.
I'm just entranced every time I play it. Yeah. So absolutely pick that one up. But what's your final game recommendation, John?
I've been racking around about what is too basic, what is too out there. I'll go with another Nintendo import one, which I have talked about before, which is Nintendo Puzzle Collection. Is that too basic, or am I allowed that in?
I don't know, because I mean, on one hand it has Dr. Mario in it, on the other hand it has Panel de Pon. So
I think I can justify it. So
go for it.
It's not really a collection of sorts, because they're basically brand new games. Dr. Mario is the most basic one, because it's just Dr. Mario 64, but Japan didn't get that, so for them it was a brand new game. But both Yoshi's Cookie and Panel de Pon they're totally new games. Yoshi's Cookie in particular, just ground up GameCube game. Really high quality artwork. I'm not much of a Yoshi's Cookie fan myself, but you can respect what went into that version. Panel de Pon, though, that's the most interesting part of this collection, because it's Japan didn't get Pokemon Puzzle League, so this is kind of their version of the N64 Panel de Pon, and you can feel that.
Weird they didn't get that.
It's very strange, but you can feel that Pokemon Puzzle League vibe to the artwork and everything like that. But the big exception is it's got 4-player, whereas any other Panel de Pon is 2-player. So you get like these really competitive 4-player games, which are just the ultimate party flavor if you want to get like 4 friends around. But I always just prefer the Panel de Pon style over anything else as well. And it's a sequel, so even though I can't read the story, there's like all these new characters. Very familiar setting, but they are different with remixes. And it's my favorite Panel de Pon. But the coolest part of this, though, is you can connect your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube via the link cable and download, like, it downloads smaller versions of these games to your Game Boy Advance and stores them in the RAM. And you can disconnect that link cable. And as long as your Game Boy Advance battery is charged, you can just play that for eternity. Like nothing in the cartridge slot. You can just go around playing Dr. Mario or Panel de Pon or Yoshi's Cookie in these smaller portable versions. And that was so cool. So yeah, these are games that we have in other forms, but just these versions of them, I think, are the definitive ways. And there's lots of just cool flavor surrounding it all.
It's such a shame we never got them, because again, as you said, they're the definitive ways, and
yeah,
maybe we'll get that in the Nintendo Classics, but it's hard to say.
Yoshi's Cookie seems complicated. They haven't released Yoshi's Cookie since the Wii Virtual Console for some reason.
That's really That's weird. I don't know.
Apparently, I think the story behind it is Yoshi's Cookie is licensed, and it was originally a different game that they put Yoshi into. And so I think the rights owners, they're either very hard to reach or don't want to share Yoshi's Cookie anymore.
They don't want to share their cookies? What the heck?
Yeah, share the dang cookie.
You would think so. Oh wow, it was apparently published on SNES Yoshi's Cookie from a place called Bulletproof Software. So maybe they're the ones
They
causing
were the
issues.
Tetris guys. They also did Tetris on the Game Boy. And
Ah,
I think they formed into the Tetris company today. But I don't know if Yoshi's Cookie itself was done by a different studio. I'm not entirely sure.
yeah. Well, it was developed by Toze for the NES and Game Boy, and then published by Nintendo there. But Bulletproof developed and published it on SNES.
Yeah.
That's so weird. Oh gosh, Alexei Pajinov was actually part of the puzzles.
Oh well, yeah.
So
He had quite a tight relationship. Like Tetris Attack obviously wasn't a Tetris game, but Lexi lent the name to them. He regrets it a lot. Like he's spoken about how much he doesn't like that Pound Upon is called Tetris Attack.
yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
At least it's the only one called Tetris Attack. Now it's just Puzzle League, which
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best name, but whatever.
This is the peak though. Like if you're to import any Japanese Nintendo game, I think this is the one that you've got to go for.
Yeah. For my final recommendation, it's one I've talked about quite a bit, but it's also probably the hardest game to get a hold of that I'm going to recommend here because it is a Wii exclusive. It's probably never going to get ported. Used copies are definitely going to be high up in price. I don't even own one. I only rented the damn game, but I want it. I want it so bad to just to play it again. Fragile Dreams, Farewell Ruins of the Moon. And it's just such a unique post-apocalyptic game and has some fun again, the epitome of a 7 out of 10 game that just sticks with you.
Right, because the combat isn't that good. The combat's just whacking stuff with the stick most of the time, but it doesn't matter. It's what it leads to. It's a super beautiful, like still to this day, it's stunning, super beautiful survival horror anime game in this just desolate world. And there's some cool Wii remote stuff in there too. Like I love it when you use the Wii remote like a torch, like a flashlight. But there's also I remember that they're quite early on. There's a game where you're playing hide and seek with a ghost girl, and you use the Wii remote speaker to find her. And like she laughs more the closer you get. There's lots of really cool stuff like that, which is probably why it probably will never leave the Wii. But
no, it definitely won't happen. And even if we got like a Wii Nintendo Classic section, I can't even imagine this coming to that. That'd be a shock to me.
It'd be amazing though. Yeah.
I'd love it, but it's just not going to happen. So I just have to be eventually I want to find this so I can play it again because I don't know, it's just one of those games that's sets with me, and I don't want to reveal too much about it, but it just something about it just I don't know, it's that special game.
Yeah, I think the word somber was used in live audience, and that describes it best. You've got these stunning anime cutscenes, a wonderful soundtrack as well. It thrives in so many areas, and even though there's a little bit of basic gameplay in there, it comes together to just give you this wonderful whole.
Yeah. Good luck playing it if you want to play it legit. I'm guessing it's a little easier not legit, but gosh, yeah, something to look out for. But yeah, let's get to our top recommendation technically because another game beat it out, but that was also on the best of all time list. So let's the game that beat it, the number one recommendation from our fans is technically Ghost Trick, but that made the top of all time, number 66 and best of all time. But we've talked about Ghost Trick many times before. I
had it on my list originally, and I thought, nah, you got to swap that for Nintendo Puzzle Collection. That's too basic of a pick, Ghost Trick these days.
yeah, it's a really good pick, but it's keeps showing up. People know.
Yeah,
you should still play it, but people know. So our actual number one is the 100-line Last Defense Academy.
Dang.
And the fans of this game love this game.
Yeah. I've bought it. I bought it from Canada as
Oh,
physical
okay.
units weren't done in the UK, so I've imported it from Canada. It's on the way. I've not played it though.
I have not tried it myself. It is a massive game from what I've heard. It does its oh, gosh, I don't even know what it exactly does that's unique. I've heard some people compare it in somewhat in structure to 13 Sentinels, which definitely intrigues me. I also know that there is 100 different endings that will take you hundreds of hours to get through, but apparently people are willing to do it. Like even the directors like didn't expect people to go for every ending, but people
Yeah.
are doing it because they just got that invested in this, and it's an interesting mix of strategy, RPG, and I guess visual novel. Was kind of like 13 Sentinels. So I want to play it eventually. I just haven't gotten to it yet because a game with hundreds of hours of gameplay is kind of intimidating.
It is. I'm sure it's special though. I've heard Dude speak about this a lot as well. He seems to love the game.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, at some point we'll play it. At some point, and
At
I
some
mean that
point.
legit. I will play this.
Yeah, same here. I do want to play it at some point. So yeah, figure that out. But yeah, that's our recommendations, your recommendations, at least the top 10 of them. And I think we have a pretty good mix here of
Yeah.
games out there. So real quick, we're going to run through the top 50 recommendations. I'm going to leave out the ones that were part of the best of all time, just to quickly break down the ones that were in the best of all time that also got recommended. Games like Neon White, Kid Icarus Uprising, Celeste, Mother 3, Tunic, Octopath Traveler 2, A Short Hike, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Trails in the Sky First Chapter, Skies of Arcadia, UFO 50, Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, Inscription, Gravity Rush. All those games, absolutely worth playing. Not going to talk too much about them, though, because they were in the best of all time. So, we had our chance there with those. And some ideas, like, some of those are a bit like, Kid Icarus, really? Okay, I guess.
I think especially for our audience, it's probably something a lot of us have played.
Yeah. So let's go down, break down through the rest with the time we have remaining. Number 11. This is a game I really wanted to try out. I have not had a chance to do it yet. Unbeatable.
Oh, Unbeatable's wonderful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tried this. I think maybe in this launch week. I want to say, super cool style. Just like this
Mm.
wonderful anime rebellious style to it. Um, if you're waiting for like Rhythm Heaven right now, like this is definitely gonna like quench that thirst. Lots of just great like ways of contextualizing rhythm. Great soundtrack. Yeah, just a wonderful game.
Yeah, I need to try it out because it can't be that super long. But it looks wonderful.
Mm.
Um, Number 12 is Mizurna Falls.
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of this one before, but it is a PlayStation 1 game developed by Human Entertainment, stayed Japan only, but apparently um, very much inspired by Twin Peaks. And there is a translation out there. Apparently in 2021, two independent English language fan translation projects were completed and released to the public. So it is available to play. Basically, according to the wiki, you have 7 days to explore this town of Mizurna Falls, talking to the residents in order to solve the mystery of the game. There's a day-night cycle. Each NPC follows the schedule, and it exists. The town exists as a single map where you can follow an NPC from location to location for the schedule and appointment. So it's one of those games. Um,
Well,
so
you say one of those games. This is pre Shenmue.
yeah, it's pre Shenmue, pre. I get some. Oh, what's the wacky game that people love? Oh,
I'm
God,
not sure.
it's also Twin Peaks inspired. That
Oh,
was
Moon.
no, not
No.
Moon. No, not Tulip. It's the one with the FBI agent, Deadly Premonition. Thank you,
Oh,
Beavers.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
I get Deadly Premonition vibes in this, except
yeah.
not monster stuff. Um, so yeah, it's I've never heard of this. It's
Oh,
basically you're looking for a missing high school student.
Yeah.
So
I think I need to give this fan translation a go. Yeah, because this sounds very much like Shenmue, like a year before Shenmue.
mhm. Yeah, and man, oh, these are the guys, I didn't realize this. Are they the ones who made the original Clock Tower?
Maybe.
Well, they made Clock Tower on PS1 at least.
Yeah.
So
Damn. Yeah, this
there's
seems rad.
that.
Great
Yeah,
recommendation.
they did make the original Clock Tower, so that might give you an idea of what you're kind of in for with that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had no idea what that was. Number 13, actually tied with Missouri Falls, is To the Moon, which I have played a little bit of, and
Yeah.
that's just a narrative game made in RPG Maker that is will just give you the feels.
Yeah.
that's what it's designed to do, and it will happen. Tied for 14, Valkyria Chronicles, near and dear to my heart, as I mentioned during Codename Steam, and Radiant Historia.
Oh, two fantastic games.
Radiant Historia is probably the second best time travel RPG ever made.
Probably, yeah.
It's really good. Absolutely worth checking out. Be nice. It's cool. It's got it was on DS, then got the 3DS remake. Be wonderful. It got ported to modern systems as well.
Yeah.
Number 16, 1000X Resist or 1000 Resist. I forget how to pronounce, but people love this one as well. This is another one that's a visual novel, I believe.
Yeah, it's a visual novel. Quite an interactive one though. Like you can roam around in 3D. Super jarring art style. Makes like the color like blood just like super stand out compared to everything else on screen. It's dark. It's methodical. Great game.
Number 17, Near Replicant version 1, the remake. So we've talked about that a bit before. It's Near. It's really good. 18, The House in Fata Morgana.
Yeah, this was the highest rated game on Metacritic for a while.
Really?
Yeah, it was like maybe the highest rated Switch game. It was ahead of Breath of the Wild for the longest time at like a 98 score, 99 score. So I checked it out, and it is really high quality. It's another visual novel. Absolutely gorgeous art though. Bit of a slow burn one. There's sort of horror elements in there, but it starts off it's just a little bit eerie, I'd say, to begin with. But yeah, it expands into something really special. So I don't know if it should be the highest rated game of all time. But it's definitely a good one.
That's the funny thing is it's like you kind of get a sense that people like to recommend stories.
Yeah,
that kind of sticks with them to some degree. Number 19, Crosscode. This is another wonderful game. Great action RPG. Very fun main character.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Devious puzzles. Good God. You could be stuck with some of these. Number 20, Custom Robo.
Custom Robo. I had a friend who played this. I played multiplayer a bunch, but I've never owned it myself.
Yeah, same here. I remember always finding the character design when I saw them in Smash to be really striking, but just never got a chance to try any of the games myself. So be cool if it came back, but I think Custom Robo has a decent chance of coming to Nintendo Classics on GameCube.
I believe the original's on the Japanese N64 one, so you can play that one. But yeah, the GameCube one probably will come at some point.
Yeah, that feels likely. Number 21, Nine Souls. I've heard really good things about this. A lot of comparisons to Hollow Knight. Tough game from what I hear, but really narratively interesting.
Yeah.
22, Valhalla, a cyberpunk bartender action, or cyberpunk bartender action. Jeez.
Yeah, this is where we get all the great indie recommendations. It's not one that I've tried myself though.
No, I've not tried it either, but I've heard people talk about it quite a bit. Next up at 23, I've not heard of this one. Angeline Era.
Yeah, this is where you and I get all the recommendations now.
I know, right? I'm having trouble finding this thing. Angeline Era. Here it is. It is on Steam. Explore a secret-filled land in this 3D action adventure where every level is hidden in plain sight. Travel and fight through a vast, unmarked overworld. Next surprise is only a single search away. Very PS. Oh, this I'm getting Alundra vibes from this.
Yeah. Was this originally a PS1 game or is this a brand new
No,
game?
this is new.
I really like
Released
when they go for that PS1 vibe these
released
days.
December of 2025. So yeah, very recent.
Yeah. Dang, looks cool.
Damn. That looks, and there is a demo to try out, and it's the game itself is only $25, so might be worth looking into. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Number 24, Arches.
Arches. Do I know this?
I don't know. I don't know if I know Arches either.
It looks like a furry game. I'm not sure I know what Arches is.
Let's see here. It's on itch.io. Oh yeah, it's visual novel, psychological horror furry visual novel, indirect
Okay.
sequel to Echo. This one seems kind of heavy because it seems like it deals with mental illness, loss, trauma, drug abuse, addiction, certain thoughts, relationship issues. Good God.
Yeah.
Just an uplifting time.
We are going to get a lot of visual novels here. You're right. There's plenty.
Yeah. Here's one that took me. I still don't know really much about it. At 25, Ligo de Guerre, or Napoleon in Japanese. I can't find anything other than it being in French. It's a Game Boy Advance game.
Huh. I don't even know what to Google.
Yeah. Okay. It's yeah. Goes of. Okay. Here's the reason why it was
Yeah.
only published in Japan and France.
How strange.
So in Japan, it's known as Napoleon. In French, it's Ligo de Guerre, or the Eagle of War. And you play as Napoleon leading the Revolutionary Army into battle against the British. It's kind of a Fire Emblem-ish game, apparently.
Yeah. It looks kind of neat.
Game takes many liberties with historical accuracy, such as Napoleon fighting man-eating ogres and abominable snowmen. You know what? I am down for that because Japan always gets we go into the past and they fought monsters in the past. We never get that for the European countries.
Yeah,
So,
put it on French NSO. Go on.
Yeah, do it. Get that English, get that translation. Developed by Genki. I'm trying to figure out what they worked on.
They that's such a familiar logo. They did.
They did Katamari Forever.
Yeah, they did.
Tokyo Extreme Racer.
Super Magnetic Neo. That's what I know them for.
They've been perfect. So yeah, that's interesting. 25. Also tied with Ligo de Guerre. Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Oh yeah. That's a really cool game.
Yeah, I've always heard great things. 26 is weird to think of it being on here, but I think it makes sense. Ico.
That is weird to be on here.
Yeah.
If
It's
it feels...
well known, but it's also don't hear it talked about as much nowadays.
No, you don't. Yeah, back in the PS2 era, this was, one of the must-haves of the console. It was innovative. It was artistically beautiful. Yeah, I think fast forward all these years, Shadow of the Colossus has very much taken that crown, and this is still special and important. But
Oh yeah,
maybe a lot of people these days haven't played it.
I think so. I think that's probably the case.
Yeah.
Well worth playing. Definitely a little iffy here in parts, but I think it's overall just really great. 27, Neo, The World Ends With You. We've talked about this quite a bit.
We've talked about this so much. And every time we just blame Square. It's great. It's such a really cool game. Yeah, the original is so unique, and it manages to respect that while adapting it to something a bit more traditional. It's a great sequel. It's a shame that it's so overshadowed.
Yeah. 28, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's a good game. I think everyone's kind of expecting it to not only meet Jet Set Radio but exceed it, and I don't think it quite landed that.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, but the vibes are off the chart. They nailed the style so well.
Yeah. So I feel like a sequel, if they probably did well enough, they can do a sequel if they want. So
yeah,
they probably refine it quite a bit. 29. Katawa Shoujo. Uh,
Shoujo.
that is a dating visual novel. That one's unique in that it's all the girls are disabled in some way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. At number 30, Pseudo Regalia.
Do I know that one?
I've heard of this one. I forget how it plays.
Let me have a look. Oh, I do know this one. This is another one of those really gorgeous PS1 looking games.
Oh, it's a 3D Metroidvania as well.
Yes, yes, yes. I need to play this. I think I played the demo a while back and I really liked it. Super striking. Like I think if you look at a lot of indie games on Twitter, or like Bluesky or any social, I think you probably will recognize this one.
Yeah. I need to wish list this one. That's cool. Let's see. Number 31, Freedom Planet 2.
Yeah, this is great.
Mhm.
Both Freedom Planets are fantastic, just like really great Sonic kind of games. A lot of great character in them. And it's difficult to like make it your own with a Sonic kind of style game, but they managed to really have a distinct personality in this one.
Yeah. Tied with it is Spiritfarer, which I almost consider as one of my recommendations, but this is just a gem. 33, Yoku's Island Express,
Oh, this is
a
cool.
pinball Metroidvania.
Yeah,
Which is
I
interesting.
love this one. I playing as that little bug and just navigating through pinball. Basically, it's not
Yeah,
always pinball, but that's like the main exploration is just like bouncing yourself around.
yeah. Number 35, Cult of the Lamb, which has gotten a lot of support and seems to do quite well.
Yeah, I don't know if
Um,
Call of the Lamb is that much of a like a niche game. I feel like it's one of the higher tier indies.
it's definitely well known among indie fans. I'm
Yeah,
not trying to myself, but people seem to really enjoy it.
yeah.
36, The Last Story.
Oh, yeah.
Which,
I think you can argue is kind of niche. Like when you look at the
yeah,
Operation Rainfall games, it's always Xenoblade, um, and
nobody really talks about Last Story or Pandora's Tower.
they're both great. They're both
Yeah,
fantastic. Like the last story, um, it's like there aren't that many Wii RPGs, and this one is really a high quality. Um, must be quite high budget as well, and it's from
seem to
the
be.
Final Fantasy creator, but it's not going back to those roots. It's still kind of trying to find its own flavor as like an action RPG. It's still British dubs 'cause I think that's just cheaper for all those Operation Rainfall games. I'd love to see it come back. I'd love an Operation Rainfall like HD set with Pandora's
There's a
Tower and the
lot of Miss
story.
Walker games that deserve to get another chance on
Oh
modern
yeah,
consoles.
absolutely.
Tied at 37, Tecmo Super Bowl, which I'm sure
Tecmo
you have a lot.
Super Bowl.
So everybody always talks about Tecmo Bowl, but not Super Bowl. But there you go. And then Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Lorelei and the Laser. I don't think I know
I've
this
heard
one.
people talk about this one. I've not tried it myself. It's a 2024 game, puzzle game, by Annapurna.
Looks
Uh,
cool.
looks like it's a point and click.
Yeah. Everything's black and white apart from the color red.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Um, 39, Kaizen, a factory story.
I don't know, Derek. What's that?
I apparently it's if I had to guess, it's one of those where it's an efficiency type game where you're just trying to get things running as efficiently as possible. Uh, let's see. You take the role of an American engineer in the 80s during the Japanese asset price bubble, hired by a Japanese company to help create assembly systems for a variety of electronic items.
This looks too complicated for me.
Oh my gosh.
This
So basically you're trying to find efficient solutions to problems, and there's actually a scoreboard of how quickly your solution works.
I think it looks artistically great. I'm looking at the screenshot of the assembly line. I'm scared of that. That's too much.
Oh my, you got to find a way to quickly assemble a camcorder. Oh no. This
Yeah,
is like,
I'm
I'm
tapping
impressed
out.
by
If
those
not
games.
started, I'm tapping out.
That was whew. That'd be a little much for me. Um, we'll have to go quickly through the rest of these. I apologize. Tied at 40, Night in the Woods, which I've
Cool.
heard always good things about, and No More Heroes, which still holds
Mm,
up, still good.
yeah.
It's not exactly too niche. But it's also not talked about that often. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
in its
weird spot.
time, I think this would be a bit of a this isn't really a big recommendation, but nowadays it's been enough time, I guess.
Yeah. Tied at 42, One Shot and Dark Cloud 2. I've heard
Dark
really
Cloud
good
2 is
things about One
wonderful.
Shot, it's one of those games sort of messes with the concept of being a game.
Yeah. Dark Cloud
Um,
2, I think it's on PS5 now. I can't quite remember if it is or not.
I'm not sure.
But even if
Um,
it isn't, try it on PS2, where it's also wonderful. Yeah, I miss this
mm,
level 5 era where they just like super experimental.
there were
Lots of
just
great stuff in there.
bangers on there.
Yeah.
Um, Number 44, Crow Country. I
Road
want to try
Country is
this out. I haven't
wonderful.
tried it, but I've heard it's excellent.
Always trust SFB games. Every single
Yeah.
thing they put out. Don't doubt it.
We have a four-way tie at 45 between Baba's You, which is going to break your brain, from
Yes.
what I hear. Kuru Kuru Kurin,
Yes.
Terranigma,
Yes.
and Rhythm Heaven Megamix.
What a quad there. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic array of games. Every single one of them.
Yeah. A lot of variety too.
Yeah.
So excellent stuff. And finally, a three-way tie at 49 between Nausea, Iconoclasts, and Mystical Ninja starring Goemon.
Dang. Yeah. Some
Yeah.
terrific games there.
Excellent games. Good old Mystical Ninja getting in there. God, Konami, please give us that collection.
How
Because this game
crazy
would
is
actually
it?
be part of that collection.
Yeah. Man, it's nuts they're finally doing a Goemon collection and we just can't have it.
Yeah, it's so odd. Real quick, just because I've noticed the game afterward, I've heard amazing stuff about this. Haven't tried it myself. Slay the Princess.
Yes, yes. I have played this and I really, really liked it.
Mhm. So, yeah. So those are all the recommendations. Thank you all so much for joining us for this. I think we just filled up your wish list.
Yeah.
I think, especially if you like visual novels or are curious about visual novels, that was definitely the star here.
I was
And
almost off guard by that PlayStation Japan only game. Mizurina Falls? Like that
yeah,
sounds yeah,
Mizurna Falls.
yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, very interesting game. Uh, John, I'm going to put you on the spot here because we haven't fully decided what our next poll is as of
Oh.
this moment. So, on the spot, do you want top 10 Zelda items or top 10 Zelda dungeons for our next poll to celebrate the 40th?
You know what? Let's just putting it out there. Let's do dungeons. Let's do dungeons.
All right. We're going to want your top 10 Zelda dungeons. Look forward to look for that in the comments and in the description. We'll have a link to that poll. So I have to get to write down all those. So it'll be a drop down. So that'll just make it easier to tally. But yeah, otherwise, that is all of our recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to GVG, hitting the like button, and ringing that bell. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/GVGaming with plenty of extra perks. So until next time, bye.